Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. I'm just going to share this with some other groups, so it'll just take me a couple of seconds to get it set up. So we're having a really good day here. There's sun. It's Friday. Going to get together with a couple of buddies after I teach my last class. Haven't seen them in a little while, so that's going to be awesome. Super excited about that. And heading into another weekend, which if you own your own business, that doesn't really mean anything. But weekends are good. And I just recently decided to try something that kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I'm super, super excited. All right, there we go. Awesome. All right. So, hey Ryan, how's it going? So I was going to talk about doing things that scare you, because that's what I've just decided to do, something that scares me. And it's something I thought about doing years ago, and then I learned a little more about it, and I thought, nah, it's not really for me. And then just recently somebody asked me if I was thinking about doing this particular thing, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should. So what I've decided to do is to train for and compete in a figures competition. So it's something I thought about years and years ago, and then I was told about how you prep for it, and I just, at the time, I just thought, no, I don't think I can do that. It sounds too daunting. And then just recently, my cousin actually got in touch with me and asked me if I ever thought about doing them, so that got me thinking about it again. And I have a friend who does them who is amazing. She's been super successful, and then she turned me on to this really great coach, so I've set that up, and we'll be training. I'll be doing a show in October, so that's kind of freaky for me, but I'm going to do that. So, I mean, you never know until you try it out, right? So that got me to thinking about, you know, things that scare you, and how they say you should do something that scares you every day, and I thought I'd look into the benefits of doing that. And if there's something that scares you, really deep down inside, it's something you want to do. But you're imagining a negative outcome, and that's why it scares you. So I figure if I'm really freaked out about this, I must really want to do this. I felt the same way when I first started road riding. I was freaked out to go riding in these groups on my little road bike that I'd never ridden before. But I did that, and I loved it. I also felt the same way when I started teaching classes. It's freaked me out so much, and now it's my career. So these things that scare you, there's a reason why they scare you, and you should be doing the things that scare you, because it usually leads to something good. And so, how do you get around that fear? What do you do? Well, the first thing is figure out the absolute worst case scenario and get really, really clear on it. So even don't just think about what it is, actually write it down and then read it. Because sometimes when you look at it and you see it on paper, it's like, okay, well, that's not really that bad. It's like, that would suck, but it's not going to be the end of the world. And that just kind of helps you feel a little bit calmer about what you're going to be trying to do. So worst case scenario, write it down and then look at it and really think about, you know, how bad that really is. The next thing that I suggest is stop overthinking it. Overthinking is just a way of breaking down your confidence, and I am so guilty of overthinking things. I'd be getting ready for a ride, and I'd be thinking about absolutely every part of the ride where I might crash or something like that, and lots of times I would talk myself out of even going for that ride, and I probably missed out on a lot of fun rides because of it. So overthinking doesn't work, and the days that I forced myself to go, even though I was overthinking the ride and really freaked out about it, they were awesome rides. So there's no point in overthinking these things, because you're just going to imagine scenarios that are probably bad. It's just going to freak you out. It's not going to serve you in any way, and it's going to hold you back from doing what you want to do. Hey Jody, how's it going? Hi Angel. So the next one is to do it. Do that thing that scares you, and do it over and over again until it becomes something that you're comfortable with. So with cycling and with teaching classes, that's exactly what happened. The more I did it, the more comfortable I got with it, and then you know, it starts to become second nature. It starts to become one of your habits, and it doesn't even scare you anymore. And when you do get to that point where you're not scared by it anymore, that's when it's time to pick something else that scares you and try that out. You always want to be doing something that scares you. Fake it till you make it. And this one's good. I did this for when I started teaching my group fitness classes. So did you know that your internal physiology actually responds to your bodily movements such as posture and facial expressions? So that's something to really think about. So if you're doing something that you're scared about, if you walk in like you're super confident and you feel really great about it, your internal physiology will react to that and you'll start to feel calmer and feel more confident. So I had to do that when I first started teaching classes. It's gotten to a point now where it doesn't faze me at all to teach classes. But in the beginning, it was really scary. So fake it till you make it. That's some really good advice. Someone gave me that advice years and years ago, and it really works. It's amazing. You'll probably be surprised at how well it works if you ever tried that out. And then banish negative thoughts. So when you're insecure, it's because you're imagining negative results. So you have to get out of the habit of letting those negative thoughts come into your head. So this one will take practice. So anytime you start to have a negative thought, what was that, Ryan? You would feel that you're just not good enough. Yeah. See, a negative thought like that, like I'm not good enough, you have to stop that. So as soon as that negative thought comes into your head, you stop it and you come up with something positive right away. So at first, it's going to be tough. You're training yourself to think in a different way. But if you do this enough, it does become second nature to start thinking more positively, and you will actually notice that you will start thinking more optimistically about things just in general. So that's a big one to practice because those negative thoughts really do hold you back. And, 10 years from now, you don't want to look back and be like, oh, I regret not trying that. I regret being so scared that I didn't do something. And, I've had things that I've regretted that I didn't do, and that's not a good feeling. And so, when something is scaring you, you just got to jump in and do it. It's so worth it. And, it helps you to grow as a person as well, because if you're just always sitting in your comfort zone all day, every day, nothing good is going to come of that. You're going to be comfortable, which is nice, but, what's fun about that? Not too much. So find those things that make you nervous, that scare the crap out of you, and jump in and do it. And, it's exciting. Like, feeling scared can kind of feel like sort of a negative emotion, but it's really quite exciting. You get the adrenaline going, and when you do finally do the thing that scares you, you realize that, it was fine. Like, it just improves your self-confidence so much, and then you kind of move on to the next one. Before you know it, your comfort level will get larger and larger and larger, and you'll be able to start to, reach out and grab for things that are really super uncomfortable and actually feel okay about doing that. So that's my quick spiel for today. I got to get back to the studio and teach my last class so I can go and meet my buddies for a couple of beers. Super excited, and think about what I've gotten myself into. So this competing thing, this is something that's been in my head for a long, long time. I think the first time I talked to somebody about it was probably about 10 to 15 years ago. And it's just kind of been floating around in my head. And then when my cousin just kind of reached out to me out of the blue, really, I was like, okay, I think this is a sign. I think I have to look at this and see what the next step is. And I just happened to know someone who knew a coach and all of that. So it just kind of all fell into place. So I'm really excited. I'm nervous about how it's going to go. I know it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to take off and go and teach. Thanks so much, Ryan. And have a fun night. So you guys have an awesome weekend, and I'll talk to you again on Monday.